everyone, and welcome back to our second segment of Sports Central. Hank Long along with Neil Duncan, and hey, this is going to be a fun segment. But before we get going, we got to thank our sponsor.
We'll see. I don't know. He's not very good. Hampton Inn at Winter Haven is our segment with the sponsor. He's over here already giving me the dirty look. We have fun time with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Ledger, great sports columnist and one of our favorite guests here on Sports Central, Mr. Rick Brown in the house.
Hey, Hank, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Rick, I'm glad you could join me for this interview.
I'm so glad.
This is going to be fun. I'm glad we have about 8 or 10 minutes to talk to each other.
Yes,
and have
let's
a great
do this,
conversation.
please.
I can get up and leave.
Thank you, Neil. We'd appreciate
Yes,
that.
Neil. Yeah. Nice seeing you
I
again.
can get out and walk out. You can throw me out like they did Raheem Morris last year with the Bucks.
Hey, you catch the same plane to D.C. if you want to.
Yes.
All right?
Oh, boy. Hey,
What's going
Rick.
on, guys?
Hey, just great having you on the show. And, of course, we're getting ready for football season. It's already kicked in with some preseason games. And
Definitely. It's that time of year. I mean, from high school to colleges kicks off, and now the NFL. I mean, this is the time of the year, guys. This is my time of year.
Of course, Rick Brown covering the Bucks for the Ledger, and you've been over training camp and watched them get ready for the season. New sheriff in town, Greg Schiano, head coach of the Bucks. Of course, Raheem Morris fired last year. Really kind of got a raw deal. Really didn't get an opportunity to do the things that he needed to do. But now they got Schiano. Kind of a surprise hire. Were you surprised by the hire?
I was, because he was in the background. No one knew that they were even thinking about him. And he came up, but I think it's a great hire because of the job he did at Rutgers. I mean, he brought Rutgers from a no-name team to being
Rutgers,
to being relevant in college football, and that's something, and especially in Division I with all the powers in Division I.
Right.
And what he's trying to instill in Tampa Bay is the discipline, is doing everything the right way the first time. So far during training camp, everyone's buying in, and it's pretty good.
Rick, when you come from a college, though, a university, playing college ball, coming into the NFL, I mean, Spurrier, great in Florida, and then went to Washington, and just, it's tough. What is he having to face from that same type of transition?
Well, when you change from college to the pros, you lose almost a little bit of your power, because when you're a college coach, you control everything. You control their scholarships. That's the big thing. You can say, okay, if you're not going to do the job, we'll just take your scholarship and give it to someone else. So you have a certain amount of control over the kids. Now, these are people with families. They have their own children. You're talking to grown men now. And so you can't scare them, per se, with the scholarships. I mean, you can scare them with their job, but a lot of these big money players have job security. So that's not the thing. What he has to do is establish a trust. And you start that by establishing the trust with the top players, the Josh Freemans, the quarterbacks, the Rondé Barbers, the old vets, the offensive line, Davin Josephs, Donald Penns. And you hope it trickles down to the rest of the team. And you think, if the team sees their leaders doing the top job, doing the job, busting it, working, getting there on time, studying, then it will trickle down and everyone will start doing it. And so far, that looks to be the case.
Certainly, when you talk about a football team, you always seem to start with the quarterback. And Freeman has come in about 20 or 25 pounds lighter, looking really good in the first few games. So I'll ask you to talk about him for a second, and then let's bring it back to Polk County. Ahmad Black is getting some PT there for the Bucks. Of course, last year was drafted, and they got hurt in the preseason, so ended up on the practice squad. We didn't see much. So talk to us a little bit about Josh Freeman and then Ahmad Black from Polk County.
Josh Freeman's the key this year. You're right, he did come into camp 20 pounds lighter, and he's picking up the offense. I mean, he had all of the offseason, something they didn't have last year, and that has helped. He's really getting a bond with his receivers, Vincent Jackson, who's new, Taquan Underwood, a guy from Rutgers, who has come on and has really provided a spark to them. Josh seems to be getting more and more comfortable in the offense, and that's going to be key this year. As far as Ahmad is doing what he did at Lakeland and what he did at Florida. He's a kid who's not the biggest, not the fastest, but he has this knack for being around the ball all the time. And in one of the preseason games, he got an interception, his first in the NFL, and almost took it to the house. But he's been doing that throughout camp, and you can see the confidence growing in him. He's had an off season to learn the playbook, off season to work with the guys, and he's getting his swag back a little bit, and you can see it. And when he's confident, he plays very well.
Well, and he didn't have a chance last offseason because of the lockout. So that from college to the training camp, that off-season stuff is huge, isn't it?
It is, because that's where you get not only to learn the plays, but you get to actually do it on the fields through walkthroughs and the OTAs and the mini camps. And that is, those are 14, 15 days that's invaluable.
You get to get in the environment of your team.
Right.
Exactly.
You got to get that trust.
Comfortable,
right.
and you start to get those jitters out, and you can just relax and be you.
Right. And what he was trying to prove himself last year, that, I was a fifth-round pick, but I can play this game.
Right.
And the injury and the lockout really hurt him. This year, he's getting more comfortable, and you can see him, and he still has that smile that he's always had, and everyone just loves him, and he's producing on the field so far.
What do you think we're going to do for wins and losses this year? Do you have a feel? You got to start to watch him play a little bit to get
real
a feel
tough schedule.
Yeah.
Real tough schedule. You have the NFC East, which is always a battle, and their division, the NFC South, is tough. I mean, geez. Every year you got to go against Atlanta. You have to go against Drew Brees in New Orleans, and of course Superman Cam in Carolina. Wow, wins and losses. I mean, over under right now, it has to be 6.5, 7. If they do better than that, Shiano's first year, I think is a win.
So you think an 8-8 season is just beyond that? Would be perfect.
I think it would, although they're thinking, why put a ceiling on it?
Right.
Why? I mean, Rondé Barber said, I came back for my 16th year because these guys want to win now.
Right.
And, I mean, in the NFL, you can do that. I mean, look at San Francisco the year before. I mean, 2 years ago, they were just like the Bucs were last year.
Right.
And they came back and made it to the NFC Championship. So it's possible. You have to get off to a great start, though. I don't know if they can, because they have Carolina at the Giants at Dallas, and then they have this team up in D.C. that's coming down.
Well, before we talk about them, because we know you can't leave here without talking about them. But oh no, he's going to do it already.
Folks, here it comes.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. All right,
It was quick. It was just quick.
we'll talk about the Redskins in just a second.
Okay.
But wow, I don't even know what I was going to say now. He said that. But do you see Ahmad making the team?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's certain. But do you see him playing?
Yes. What they've been working with him in the preseason is doing their nickel and dime packages. He'll come in as safety. They'll move Rondé down to the slot, or they actually have 3 safeties on the field at the time. And Ahmad's playing his free safety role, roaming over and looking for picks and hits, and he can do that very well.
So in that free safety position, for the folks watching that might not know, he's just roaming around following the ball.
Yeah, in certain defenses, he has a certain area to cover.
Coverage area.
And he'll be doing a lot of things. He'll be coming down, he'll be blitzing, but usually they just kind of roam around. They have a specific assignment, but once that ball is released, go.
You got to pay attention to the ball.
And he can do that.
Running backs, how do you think we're going to do this year with running backs?
With the addition of Doug Martin, he was the second first-round pick. Every time Doug gets the ball in his hands, he's excited because he's just a scat back. He just zips, and he's fast. Add him with LeGarrette Blount. I think if they stay healthy, and that's the key, especially with Blount, if they stay healthy, they'll have a nice 1-2 combo back there, which you need in the NFL. I mean, you have some power, you have some speed.
Right. Well,
I think they could be good.
The NFL has gone away from the one back.
Yes.
It's running back by committee.
It has to be.
And it has to be because of the wear and tear that they take. But you're right about Martin. He can take it to the house anytime he touches the ball.
He's exciting to watch, and if people haven't seen him really perform, you have to. Number 22, when he gets the ball in his hands, you get excited. You do. And I tell you, every time he touches the ball, I kind of move up just to see what was new he's going to do, because it's something.
Well, on the flip side of excitement, tell us a little bit about the Washington Redskins.
RG3.
Actually, it is. It's going to be. What do you think he's going to do? I mean, they obviously.
I think he's going to struggle.
Yeah.
His rookie year.
Right.
You know, but he has something. I mean, just like Schiano did at Rutgers, this kid helped establish Baylor as something prominent.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take a while, 2-3 years. But I think this kid is something. I think he is a franchise quarterback.
Well, he's an excellent passer.
Yes, he is.
You know, and that's, you know, when you look at Tebow's a good runner, they don't really rate his passing that great, you know.
Tebow, who's that?
But then you've got this kid that runs the ball so well as can throw it. And I would think the one thing with him is that he doesn't get hurt running the ball.
And he's really not a runner. I mean, he can run, but he likes to be in the pocket, and he likes slinging the ball downfield. And they've picked up a couple of receivers to help do that. So that game, September 30th at Raymond James Stadium, the return of Raheem Morris, who's the defensive backs coach there, it's going to be electric at Raymond James on September 30th.
Yeah, all 10,000 people will be cheering loud.
10,001, including me.
Okay.
We could go on and on all afternoon talking about it, but we've come to the end of our segment. Thank you so much for joining us. Rick Brown from the Ledger, and you do such a great job. And
real quick, give us the Facebook and the Twitter, because I know that you do some tweeting and stuff from the sidelines when you're covering the Bucs. What are those?
Twitter, you can find me at RickBrown91 and at Ledger on Bucs, LEDGER on Bucs. And that's for all my Bucs coverage. At RickBrown91 is just me talking about you.
We're going to
end on that.
Yeah, we're going to make sure we're following that. Rick, it's always fun having you on the show.
Guys,
thanks for joining us.
I appreciate
you taking time out of your busy schedule.